And we are live. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Holy Crap, the Vlogcast. Vlogcast that comes from a skeptical point of view to answer some of the questions of why. The Vlogcast started as a combination of spite and the Streisand effect because, truth be told, don't know what to talk about most of the time, and, well, that suits my personality just fine. And if any doctors are out there kind of wondering, he sounds like he might have undiagnosed HDAT, or at TAT or ATST or whatever it's supposed to be these days, RFID and PDQ. I don't know anymore. And part of this is to follow through with the old adage that sometimes the journey is more important than the destination. I'm your main host. I'm known as Shujin Tribble, and you can find me pretty much everywhere under that name. That's SHUJIN. Hi. Yeah, it's going to be one of those nights. It's been one of those days and, well, let's admit it, 2 weeks for me. From the right-hand coast, where right now things are shaking up just a little bit north of you, Unrenode Tech. Good morning.
Hey there. I have an abomination of a sandwich with two.
You didn't?
I have taken turkey with cheese and mixed it with nori seaweed, sesame, and pickles.
Could have done worse.
Oh, with horseradish sauce.
Still could have done worse. And
yeah, I didn't want to use the spicy bacon jam because, well, I don't want spicy this late at night. I'm getting older.
That's fair. And on the left-hand coast, where it moves a lot more often than we'd like, although the right-hand coast apparently is giving you a run for your money right now, IO-Cloud, good evening.
Well, this is the Ring of Fire, so you'd expect fire and the earth moving under my feet. Ooh, that's a good song I should throw into tomorrow's show. And stuff like that. I actually posted in your private Discord server a picture I have on one of my apps. Basically, the Grand Canyon is on fire.
Yeah, so part of that.
Yeah, and I'd actually would have to go into the app to get the name of the actual fire. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But yeah, we had Tsunami Watch this week, and I'm listening to all these tsunami warnings and all that. I was nice, high and dry about 3 or 4 miles inland and partially up a mountain. So I was nice and dry. There was no way the tsunami would get to me. I think the highest was like 2 meters, so about 6 feet somewhere. And on the one hand, yay that we now have these tsunami early warning systems. But it's getting to the point where people are, boy who cried wolf it. They're getting used to him. And one of these days there's going to be a tsunami that is going to be like that other tsunami that happened. Actually, 2 tsunamis that happened. And people are going to get hurt. So on the one hand, yay for the early warning system. On the other hand, people are stupid.
Yeah, there is that. You know, it's funny that you said that, because now I'm wondering, how far was it as a straight line from where I used to live?
If people are really worried about the Grand Canyon being on fire, just fill it back up with water.
Huh. You know what? I just, sorry, I'm kind of doing a back of the envelope kind of thing, and according to what I'm looking at, where I used to live on Long Island, I was never more than basically 2 miles to water. But because of the way that everything works with Long Island, with the barrier beaches on the south end, the actual ocean. It was more like 5.5 miles, because there's a look at a map of Long Island, and you will see the Captree Island and Oak Beach. You'll kind of figure it out from there.
I want to say it was the Indian tsunami, but I think it was Indonesia, where thousands of people died because they didn't leave the beaches. They went, oh, what's going on? We're going to go out for a walk. As well as the Fukushima tsunami. That went miles inland, or kilometers, whatever. So we've had at least 2 in recent memory that were pretty bad. So yes, good. Early warning system, perfect. I'd rather have that early warning system than people going, oh, what's this? And walk out and get killed. Because at least with the early warning system, if you're smart, you'll go the other way. And then I can start ranting about a certain celebrity not opening up their road, but that's Hawaii, and I'd start ranting.
Yeah, well, there's a number of different pieces about that, but yeah, we can do with all that a little bit later, because, well, we'll kind of see. As an aside, by the way, because I forgot to make mention of it, because my head's kind of drifting a little bit, if you'd like to be joining us live so that you can chime in and let us know how we're doing or whatever, down over here is the live chat, and you can be part of that as we're recording. So, Stephanie, good morning. Good to have you over there. And yeah, glad that you guys were not having to deal with the heat bubble over there. It wasn't exactly the heat bubble for me over these last 2 weeks, but hard pressed to say otherwise. And of course, Doc Waxon, good morning. Yeah, we'll see how long you last. We know how you are. But that's okay. Seriously, it's good to see you. Be more than happy to figure how a lot of this is going to go, because, well, let's face it, this is going to be a little different. You know, intentionally trying to be funny as opposed to, you know, scathing humor. We'll see how it goes. And as again, sorry, I don't have horrible scopes written, because no muse for it, because other things have been pressing on my head, such as, as a matter of fact, part of that is what's going to be going on with this. So, getting you started over here with 5 minutes on the clock. Your 5-minute freestyle is going to start right now. Listening is one of those things that we don't think about easily, or don't think about very often. And we guys, we're horrible at that. Part of the problem is that we guys, and I'm using this with the scare quotes to go along with it, the royal we, so to speak, we have a really, really bad habit, generally speaking. Generally speaking. Some don't have it, some are lucky enough not to, and some of us have tried to temper it heavily. We only listen just so much. And then we kind of listen only in so much as that it reinforces what we are already expecting from what little listening we were actually doing so far. And considering that we guys have a bad tendency of wanting to just fix things instead of maybe just being there to take it in, to share an experience, to offer support, perhaps. Well, it's something that's kind of hard for us to do a lot and consistently and easily, might I add. I'm lucky enough that I was able to do that. I found out that there is someone who I've known for a very long time. And it turns out that their husband had been cheating on them for a while, and they were not in the loop about it. Now, it ends up kind of being a little bit of a weird thing, because their marriage was quite atypical. They didn't live in the same state from each other. As a matter of fact, they didn't even live in the same country with each other. But they still made it work for them. Okay, not the way that I would think to do it, but you know what? Works for them? Fine. Except it turned out that it hadn't. Their partner had cheated on them and kept them in the dark about it, and claimed with the other person that they had an open relationship and they were allowed to, don't ask, don't tell with this kind of thing. And well, that to use an expression, well, that was a lie. Unfortunately, it was a lie on top of multiple layers of lies. And unfortunately, it all came to a steaming head, and word got out. I called them. Maybe against my better judgment, but I called. Because I wanted to be able to say, I know this is probably a really bad time to talk with you, so I don't want you to talk with me. I just want to hear what I've got to tell you, and then whatever you want to do at that point. So what I wanted to say was this. And I told him that whatever was going on, I'm sorry for it. I will be here for you. If you want to talk, I'll be here. If you want me to just sit and listen, I'll be here. If you don't want to say anything, if you just want to sit on the phone, I'll do that. But I'm here. And that's all that I wanted to say, and I'll just leave it I'll leave it for you to decide how to go from here. We stayed on the phone for basically an hour and a half. And the biggest piece that I did was just listen. Just to let them talk. To vent, to get it out. Guess what? It's not going to change anything other than the fact that they know that they're not alone. That even if I don't have the same experience by any stretch of the imagination, that I'll be there. Sometimes that's the biggest gift that we can give. Not platitudes, not fixing something, but just letting someone know you're not alone. I won't let you be. And at that point, I'll shut up and you tell me what you want. Tell me. And I'll do that. So, as we said for all of you before, if you need us, if you need someone, find us on Discord. Just let us know that you're there, that you need a voice, that you need an ear. And we'll do what we can. Can't promise to be there every 20 minutes, but we'll be there. Because that's what friends do. Now, that's the end of that, but there was another piece that I was going to add into that, which is going to be really funny for a lot of folks. It turns out many years after meeting someone, I found out that they literally slapped me on the shoulder at one point and said, and I'm paraphrasing here at this point, how the hell did you not know that I was flirting with you? I don't know, because you didn't tell me that you were. So yeah, we guys, we are hilariously bad at paying attention to some things. So if you want us to know something, just come right out and just say it, because we're horrible at this. Again, royal we. It's not all of us. It's just a lot of us. I'm sure I only speak for myself. I'm sure. So, like I said, with no horrible scopes having been written as yet, I'm gonna hopefully see about that in the very near future. Again, we'll completely bypass that. This is episode 543 on the docket, Your Honor. I know. I should have come up with. I actually thought about some kind of a cute thing to go along with that one, but what are you gonna do? Request made, request fulfilled. Last time somebody suggested, hey, how about talking about, funny stuff for a change? Because, all so serious. And, I mean, sorry, let me just. It's all so serious. I don't know how to do that properly. I don't have the hook things sanitized right now for. Okay, shut up. You're not allowed to take a look at my search history. Okay, never mind. And you know what? It's right. We haven't talked about, what's been fun, what's been funny, what's been keeping our sanity together in a while. So, you know what? Maybe not such a bad idea to go ahead and do that. Considering how The Onion is becoming far and away more news relevant than escapism, I figured maybe that might not be such a bad idea. So, we're going to go ahead. We're going to do that. We're going to see what kind of things have been keeping our collective consciousness from slipping into its own self-induced coma. And we're going to put Io on the spot and say, hey, it's your fault. Go ahead. You started off. You do it. You do. Go ahead. You do. You won't. No balls.
I was looking up songs to play for tomorrow, and I found Nonsense is Holier Than Thou. I'm holier than thou. I've got that spirit now.
You're going to have to explain to everyone the rhyme and the reason for why. Because remember, it's only yesterday that you were telling Dallin and me about it. And, well, nobody else knows what in the hell you're talking about.
What was I talking about? Oh.
Are you trying to tell us that she had surgery and now she's got another hole in her?
Something like that. I don't know. Jog my memory a bit.
Why you're looking up for music? What kind of show you are going to be putting together?
Oh. Every Sunday when my other half does his show, I do the playlist for the show. And I make it a contest. And the people that have been trying to win the contest have said, please make it easier. So he's decided that he's just going to pay me in game money, a certain amount of money, and he's going to be forking out the prize money for himself, but I still get to play my contest. The one I like doing is the musical theme of 4 chords. All these songs have the same 4 chords.
Oh, chords. I thought she said same 4 chords. I'm thinking, like, is this a drinking game?
Might as well be.
And yeah, might as well be, especially when people can't get it right. What are they? Aces of Apes or something like that? They're a musical comedy group, and they found about 50 songs that can all be played with the same 4 chords and pretty much the same beat. And you just can go from one song to the next. And I've done that one 3 times, and nobody's gotten it.
I believe that one is called Tripod. I believe. Yeah. I'd have to look that up. I'm using a different keyboard right now, so I haven't had the chance of figuring out how to properly keep it quiet enough because the tappity on my keys is a little too loud, so I'm not going to do that right now. But yeah, they're a noisy group.
Last week's was Animals. So who let the dogs out, Stray Cats Strut, stuff like that I was playing. And
Waltzing Matilda?
Yes. That's one of the ones I could have done. Didn't do it, but I could have done that one. What else was on my list? Scroll. Green Jelly, 3 Little Pigs, Hungry Like the Wolf, Duran Duran, Prince When Doves Cry, Survivor, Eye of the Tiger, Bloodhound Gang, The Bad Touch. I was having fun with this. And yeah, it was easy enough for people to guess. Tomorrow's theme, I'm not saying what it is. You better not say what it is, because if anybody is listening that knows, I want it to be a fair contest.
That's okay.
Yeah, so this is what I do every Saturday night. I set up the playlist for his show the next day, and if I'm also going to be doing the DJ set 2 hours earlier in the day, I set it up as well. Just because I set up the playlist does not mean that I stick to it.
That's fair. Okay, so over in the live chat, Doc is doing Doc things, which means it's joke season.
Yep.
And he's got this running things about nuns right now. Okay, so one of the things that you guys know full well, and I'm sorry, Tech, just give me a second, I'll get back over to you. In the news, the New York City area, specifically the New Jersey area, was apparently hit with not just bad weather, meaning a lot of rain, but they had an earthquake, not a huge one by any stretch of imagination, but anything that's felt in the New York metro area is dangerous, to put it mildly. So, it's one of those things. So I'm paying attention to the news reports that are coming out of the New York City, Long Island, the tri-state area in that region, because if there is some kind of weird settling that's happening in New York City, especially that area, it's going to affect the landscape of the buildings, because a lot of the taller buildings have to be anchored to bedrock, in Manhattan Island. And if bedrock shifts, we've got a massive problem, because that is millions upon millions of people that live out there. So because of that, I'm reading about, what's been going on around over there. And one of the news reports that came up, and this is why it came, you were reminding me about this, is that there was something that I swear you could have been like basically news headlines that came out of like the 80s or the 70s, that around, oh God, what side was it? Central Park West, along Central Park West. There were 3 nuns, because, there are a lot of different groups out over there, religious organizations, the Shiite community, the Jewish communities out there, and the Christian Catholics, most of the Catholics, because nuns, and there were 3 of them that were coming down Central Park West, outside of everything, of all things. And I can't believe that I'm actually going to say this, because, like I said, it's like something out of the 70s or the 80s. They had a complaint of a flasher, which, I mean, when the hell do you ever hear about this kind of thing? It's the first time I've seen something like this in a long ass time, and it prompted response, because the first little old lady, I mean, this basically what she was. I mean, she was what, 5'1". She had a stroke. Because, I mean, so surprised. When the hell does this ever happen? The second one of them also fell over, had a stroke. Third one couldn't reach. I don't know what to do about that, but it is what it is, I suppose. So, yeah, Tech, New Jersey, earthquake. You heard about that?
No, I do remember some years ago when the earthquake did hit the East Coast, though, and it was felt as far up as New York. Because I remember being in a building in Maryland, and it was shaking so much we thought that one of the planes from the local airport was flying way too low. Like, brush the trees low.
Ooh, that's so good.
And when we realized it wasn't a plane, me and a bunch of other guys, we all just booked it down the stairs.
There was a magnitude 3.0 today, northeast of Hasbrook Heights, New Jersey.
Yep.
Depth of
I
about
must
10.
have slept through it.
Depth about 10 clicks, and I'm looking at the USGS website right now. I was looking there because I wanted to see what was going on in California. And, just looking around. Yeah, earthquakes updated.
Yeah, nice to know the USGS is still operational, right?
Yeah, I hope so. Oh, we have another one in Russia. There's a cluster of them. I was about to say cluster F, but there's a cluster of them in that one little tip that's north by northeast of Japan. And it's rocking and stuff.
Yeah, not cool.
5.1, 5.0, 4.5, lots of them. 5.1, 5.0, lots in the fours. So something's
Something's a little hinky. And you know what? I'm looking
and
over
it just
the
updated again.
I'm looking over the summary. Tech, you might want to take notice of this one. This one was a 3.0 in Hasbrook Heights. And apparently the previous, and this one was a 3.0, April of last year, there was a 4.8 in Tewksbury. So they're specifically saying it's not an aftershock; it's its own thing. But that's I don't like this. This is making me feel like there is a line that's. I know 2 points doesn't exactly make a. Yes, in mathematics it does make a line, but you know what I mean when we're talking about earthline faults. That just concerns me.
Okay, let me do the map. There we go. I'll put this into our chat. Yeah, nothing. I haven't felt anything here, thankfully. But we have had a couple of earthquakes. Just little ones.
Oh, hold on a second. Doc Swaxon is complaining that he thought this was supposed to be a comedy show, so I got one for you. Why do Java developers wear glasses?
Oh, good freaking Lord. All right.
Because they don't see sharp.
Okay.
There you go, Doc.
Anyway.
I've been holding on to that one for a long time.
Yep, that's all well and good.
So there's the cluster of earthquakes that Russia's having. It's in the host chat.
Well, why not put it in the show notes?
Okay, I'll stick in the show notes.
Yeah, I mean, everybody gets the opportunity. Everybody gets a turn.
Yeah, it's just...
It's all good. There is actually good news that I can give y'all. that had been pointed my way that I can kind of share. A little bit ahead of schedule, the name, the copyright, the pretty much the everything for Commodore Business Machines, CBM, has now been paid for and transferred over to one guy who is bringing Commodore back.
Yes.
He's got people who originally worked on the product, who originally worked on the hardware, on software, on making sure that everything worked. Commodore, the guys who brought us the best-selling computer in modern history, is going to be bringing back the retro computers, the stuff that's brought back with a new feel to it all. So the Commie 64 can be coming back. Now, there are people who are saying, if you're bringing back Commodore, where's the Amiga in all this? That gets real hinky because of the way that everything has worked over the last 30 years. But it's entirely possible, if Commodore 2.0, shall we say, is starting to make good headway, whoever it is that has the actual rights for Amiga is probably going to want to go, hey guys, can we kind of join forces and make this all happen all over again? As someone who has 2 Amiga 2000s in mothballs currently, I would so love that. I would so love to see a revised Amiga back. Although, I don't know that Motorola is currently making 060 chips anymore, but you know what? That would still be cool as hell.
I've got a story about revenge in an Amiga. I had a roommate, big guy, like 6'5" and about, you had to take him to a truck scale to weigh him, literally.
Okay.
We also had, the two of us together, we also had another roommate who was about 5'2", and if I'm a potato, he was a dumpling. You could have probably taken him and just rolled him down the hill. Short, fat dude. So tall, fat dude, short, fat dude. And I also had my ex-boyfriend at the time. So I was living with 3 men. And the short, fat dude really got under my nerves. He would open carry. He did some stupid stuff with his gun. He never actually shot me. But he also wasn't perfectly safe with his gun. And he also loved doing green stuff. And stuff with 3 letters. Yeah.
Okay.
The boyfriend at the time also enjoyed doing that stuff. The big tall roommate and I hated that stuff. And we're like, guys, don't do this around us. Go somewhere else. Finally, short dude got me so pissed off at him that I took his super secret, this gets me into my porn for the Amiga game that I love to play. I took that one piece of paper and I made it disappear. He tore the entire place apart looking for it. I love that Amiga. It was the best little computer.
Okay.
He wanted to get on and he wanted to play his porn game. There was a password that was required and it was always on that one piece of paper and I loved making it disappear.
That's just cruel. By the way, Tech, just to make you feel so good about this, I do remember, even though I haven't looked at it in a long time, I do remember that I had bought for my Amiga when I was still using it, and had brought it over to the, well, it's long since defunct, the ISP that I used to work for. I actually brought it into the office to BuffNet, and I had gotten a networking card for it. You're going to love this. It had an Ethernet port on it and a token ring port on it.
Damn.
So
Token ring.
it did. Okay, try to imagine doing networking, but with cable TV wire. And twice the black magic that SCSI setup needs.
Yeah, like getting the user to leave the damn end alone.
Uh-huh. So, yeah. And for those of you that don't know what Amiga is, try to imagine it's the early 90s, and you're watching things like Babylon 5 and Andromeda. And you're looking at the space stuff, and you're like, that's really cool stuff. The Amiga is what made it possible. Well, the Amiga and New Tech. Shit, I wonder what New Tech is doing. I looked them up a while ago. New Tech is the guys that made the video toaster. They were the ones that made Lightwave. And let me tell you.
For a second there, I thought you were talking about my offspring.
No. Lightwave, holy smoke, was amazing. The video toaster was just baller. And considering what the Amiga was known for at the time, it did some... The European scene was amazing for what they could cram onto a 770K floppy disk for the demo scene. You know what we need? I will put over in the show notes that I need to put in here. State of the art demo YouTube, so that I can remember to go look that up and put that in there for later. Because that was amazing.
I couldn't do the kind of work that you do, because I would spend so much time reminiscing about stuff and telling people about stuff that they had no knowledge of and things like that. And it still happens, because, where I work, every once in a while I'll come across an old piece of tech that was sitting in the bottom of a filing cabinet or something like that, and go, oh, I remember this, and start going off on it, and people are like, you're doing it again. And what's really fun, though, is when you have other people who start reminiscing with you, and then it becomes a whole, like, it becomes a plague in the office. And all the young people are like, oh my God, all the old people.
Yep. Like the...
And that also spawns the whole, I remember before that. And this is like, uh-oh. What have I done?
We ought to put these things called phones into houses that stay there, and they're just for the house, so that people can contact whoever's inside the house. That sort of stuff. Ugh.
I've seen that all over TikTok and everything else. It's hilarious.
Transport ships,
it
completely completely carbon neutral. We just use like all these. I don't know. We could use kites to pull them from the air, so that they don't even have to. Do you not know how sail ships work? By the way,
No.
some of you might be able to see this correctly. One of the albums that I thought was going to get thrown away was this. Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi. And I'm looking at it on the and I thought it was going to get thrown away because I'm looking at it. It's Arsenic and Old Lace, as performed by Boris Karloff. It's The Doctor Prescribed Death as performed by Bela Lugosi. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, I can't allow this to get thrown away. I didn't know it wasn't being thrown away. It was just staged to go to the group that does it. And I'm just like, I don't care what the rules are. I will buy this album now to prevent it from getting thrown away, because this deserves not to get thrown away.
This is mine now. You can't throw it away. It's mine now.
Yeah. Turned out the album that we had of the Green Hornet radio play, not as expensive, but that Bela Lugosi, Boris Karloff, oh yeah, that one was put up for $25, I think, for us, give or take. And reminding you that we end up pricing stuff at approximately 30% of whatever the usual sale price is currently for whatever it is. So yeah, it's still commanding a good chunk of change. Which also, by the way, Tech, you had seen the Yiddish Magic 8-Ball that had come through, had you?
Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, I would have owned one of those if I had saw that back in the day rather than a regular 8-Ball.
Yeah, I got bad news for you. It's still being actively sold. You go.
No, I meant as a kid.
Well, yeah.
I don't. I have a lot of things I have to get rid of, and
yeah, but it's
just something I
just
can't.
a softball. I mean, you can put it almost. Okay, I really shouldn't say that, because now I got badge 502 and in my memories kind of going, no.
Don't do it. No.
But still, it would be fun.
I mean, I still have my magnetic compact cassette tapes. My analog magnetic recordings, also known as cassette tapes.
See, you say that, and of course, I had to think about it, because I don't think of it in those terms. I think of magnetic. I'm like, stick it on a wall, kind of. Oh, you're not talking about that.
I still think it's interesting that people don't realize how complicated, how much went into cassette tapes. Like, they'll look at a picture and like, okay, it's got a reel and it's got something in it, and it spins around and around and around. It's like, yeah, but it also had guide rollers and holes that were designed to hold it into place so it didn't twist or anything like that. It had specialized pressure pad, magnetic shielding, a slip sheet, right protect tabs, the whole 9 yards.
It was an incredibly elegant system.
Yeah, and I mean, sure, they wore out, and copying a copy of a copy and a copy, and it degraded over time. But that's why, like, those of us who mowed lawns, saved up our money, did the smart thing when we would make our own mixtapes and such, and we got it just right. We would keep that one as the master copy and make a copy of that.
Yep.
And that way, the master copy would have a longer shelf life.
Didn't always work that well when you were doing a copy of a copy of a copy with.
Have a nice day.
Yeah, I was just saying that it didn't always work that way with a copy of a copy of a copy of a VHS tape. But hey, what are you gonna do? So
that was one benefit of Betamax, was the control, the fine-tuned control that you could have to help compensate for some artifacting and things like that. But VHS was just inherently less expensive overall in the grand scheme of things. So, and on top of it, what's really funny is the main reason VHS took off was porn.
Yep.
That's the main reason why the internet took off.
It's not.
It's supposed to be that the scientific community were using it to talk to each other, but
But
I would argue that the internet took off very well with the nerds, the geeks, the scientific community, the hackers, the freakers, and all that fun stuff. But the popularity of it truly hit when the .com came around and broadband came around, because it came around really close together. And when that hit, when it got hit with consumerism, it took off. And then when the .com broke, when that bubble burst and things kind of collapsed, well, hey, the porn's still around.
That's true. And I was just looking it up. ARPANET, the predecessor to the internet as we know it today, established 1969. So I'm as old as the beginnings of the internet. Then again, I'm also as old as the beginnings of Sesame Street and the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. So that tells you something right there too, doesn't it?
And I'm not much younger than the internet, so I mean, it's. I'm just glad I taught mine. All the what, how things progressed, how the technology changed, how things used to work, how they currently work, and what some predictions are for how things may continue to work if technology continues to advance. Um, so it's I'm actually looking forward to seeing how things change. You know, not in terms of legislation and all that bullshit, because we see what that is, and it um, politicians always saying, "Oh, comic books are going to destroy our children. Rock music's going to destroy our children. Television's going to destroy our children. The internet's going to destroy our children." And it's like, well, I think parents not paying attention to their kids is going to destroy their children. Using the internet as like a babysitter is going to be a problem. But then again, so would be putting your kid in front of the TV, or putting them in front of, just doing something other than parenting is bad. Period. That's my argument. It's just doing anything other than parenting your kids is it's not going to be good for your kids. And so the next stuff that would come around, I mean, they're already working on augmented reality, VR, those sorts of things. Um, we don't know where it's going to go. Uh, William Gibson had, you know, uh,
Excuse me just a
coined,
moment.
I believe, yeah, huh?
I got smoke alarms had just gone off. I'm not quite sure why. I'm pretty sure it's a false alarm, but give me a couple of seconds. You guys go ahead and talk amongst yourselves.
I think it was William Gibson who actually coined the term cyberspace in one of his novels with regards to the internet. And I
I think it was
mean, I have read
Neuromancer.
some. Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, I have a copy of it on my shelf. I should have remembered that. But my memory's kind of shot. But I've read so many books about the forms that virtual reality will take. We've seen so many movies and everything else. There's so many comic books, so many animes. Um, I'm actually looking forward to seeing whether or not we go the way of like full immersion bodysuits or pods or full immersion headgear. What route will humanity figure out and go? Because I honestly think that with our advancement in technology and everything else, we will eventually create full immersion virtual reality. And, there will be problems. It's like auto driving cars, self driving cars. I never once thought, oh, it's going to be perfect as soon as they come out with it. That's what salespeople say. And it's like, no, there's going to be car accidents. People are going to die. I mean, there's going to be so many problems. It's not going to be funny. But at the same time, that's how we've always been going forward. Um, we go forward because we have limited lifespans on this planet. Human beings live very short lives in the grand scheme of things, and we advance stuff very quickly. So, yeah, I don't know what problems are going to come arising from it, but I hope I see something before I die. Something more than just wearing a pair of lenses on my eyes that won't adjust to my eyes very well because I have poor eyesight.
He went poof. Okay. Having fun talking with the people in their chat.
Red Dwarf. Yeah, there's a show. Yeah, you want to talk about something fun? Red Dwarf is great to watch. If you're looking for something to watch, you want some comedy, you want some science fiction comedy, Red Dwarf's great to watch. If you want some music, what I put in the show notes is the Holderness Family music. Um, they've been making so many. I, like many people, didn't discover them till COVID. I didn't fall across them until COVID, but their song parodies and little skits and stuff are absolutely hilarious. And they're on YouTube. I think they're on
let's
TikTok, but I don't use that.
run into the store while asking, "What year is it?" When the store owner tells you the year, you scream, "It worked!" Then run out.
Oh yeah, that is so old. Doc, you're showing your age on that one. Either that, or you found it on the net.
Stephanie's saying, "A great joke is that the GOP wants to ban porn. Talk about enraging your base." Yeah.
Oh, forget just banning porn. When they talk, when the GOP like targets like gay porn or cross-dressing porn or any of that stuff, it's like, dude, you don't know your base. You're like, like it was hilarious. What was it? What state was it? There was a state, or a series of states that blocked or wanted the pornography website called
Pornhub?
yeah, that one. And so Pornhub released the statistics on porn consumption in those states that wanted to block porn, and just what kind of porn they were looking at too. Not who personally was looking at it. That would be terrible. But just what was being most consumed in those particular states. In a lot of those states, the number one porn genre was gay porn. That made me, I was like, of course, they hate themselves, so and they hate what they like, so they're going after what they hate about themselves. So when the GOP wants to ban porn, it was like, really? Mm-hmm. What's in your closet?
I wonder how many of them are on Grindr.
Yes, I'm back.
Yeah,
to answer
that
part
was
of that question, apparently, you're going to love this. Apparently, at one of the big GOP events that had happened last year, I think it was during some campaign stop or whatever the hell it was, somebody kind of did a little bit of undercover investigation while they were there and opened up Grindr to try and, because they kind of infiltrated, and they're like, there's a lot of hits coming from very close by. Can't imagine it would be anywhere within the next, 10 meters. No, that would be wrong. Oh yeah, there were a lot of hits on that one, and I'm back. The sound that had gone off, yes, was my smoke detector system. Over here in the U.S., there are a number of versions where they don't have to be linked to each other physically in order to all go off. If one goes off, all of them go off because they detect that the sound, the very specific sound, pitch, loud kind of thing. So they'll all go off simultaneously because, well, it's the safest method.
Yeah, so, and at the same time, how does a typical smoke detector alert you that the battery's getting low? It beeps at the same frequency.
Well, this wasn't a battery is low chirp thing going off, because I've heard that before, and that's a completely separate thing. This was I'm detecting something. There's nothing to detect. There's no, and the worst part about it is, which one went off? there's no way of knowing. There's just no way of knowing. So is one of them having a bad battery day? Is one of them picking up something that it shouldn't, or maybe should? And it, I don't know what's going on. So if it happens again, we may have a bit of an issue doing the rest of the show. So I'm just hoping that it was just a fluke. I don't know. We'll see. So anyway, hi, I'm back. How you doing?
See, this is where, people talk about having all these devices connected to their computers and homes and internet and everything else are all great, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, look, I don't need my washing machine to jingle my phone when the laundry's done. I know roughly how long it takes to do my laundry. I will go down there and get it when I'm damn well good and ready. I don't need my phone going off on one more thing. However, the smoke alarms, I think that's where having them connected through a local network and having not just being able to ping your phone and say, hey, this one, which you've labeled this, maybe main room or kitchen or bathroom or whatever, beeped, it's detected this, it's detected smoke, it's detected ozone, it's detected argon, whatever it is. And then when you go look at it, it should have an external light, a series of lights that actually indicate that, yes, this one did detect this thing, right? Or that the battery is low or so on. And, I'd really like to see a lot of that advancement in that kind of stuff. And I'm just not really seeing a whole lot of it. Or at least it's not readily available in, this at the local hardware store or Target or whatever.
Yep. We're looking at possibly replacing our Nest thermostat because it's going to become obsolete as of December, maybe sooner. And yeah, they're willing to give us like $60 credit. That we still have to pay $160 for a new one.
Yeah, and I just put over into the show notes, OpenHab. OpenHab.org is an amazing system. It's kind of complicated for my own head. The idea is that you can basically get all of your smart devices in your house, all connected through one local system, just in your local system. Can you access it from externally as well? If you set it up to be able to do that, sure. But the primary use is for being able to do, get all of these desperate pieces to just talk to one central agency in your own house. And that's a cool thing. That's a cool thing to me. I don't like the idea of a lot of these different programs and systems and services and whatnot that feed everything to a third party or even the main company itself to
like
gloss
I've
over.
got an air conditioner that is like, oh, you can hook this up to the web and then it goes to your phone. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, let me see what this thing's really doing before I go and do this thing. Do some more research, look up the protocols on it and everything else. It's like, oh, so if I want to control the air conditioner with my phone, it's got to have an unfiltered internet access where it goes out to a third-party server, and then it goes from the third-party server back to my house to talk to my phone. No, not happening. If I can have a camera in my car, okay, that uses the wireless protocol to talk directly to my phone without going on the internet, and only goes through the internet on my phone if the software on my phone says, hey, there is a firmware update for your camera, right? Then my air conditioner should be the same way. My air conditioner should not be talking to some third party. And by the way, it doesn't. I have locked that crap down real quick. But it should not be going out to a third party service. If I just want it to, if I want to be able to turn it on and off while I'm at my house, If I want to set it up where I'm talking to it, like I go to work and I realize, oh, it's still on, and remotely control it, that would be another story. But that's not what I want. But that's not what it. That should not be a default.
See, and
Well, we could get the free or cheap Nest replacement if we were willing to let. I think it's Cal Ed that basically the electrical company would control whether or not we could use our AC.
um, I believe the expression that we built in high school is GFD. Yeah, go pound sand is basically what it goes and translates to. You can figure it out for your own damn selves. See, and as far as
I
to the
actually
whole,
have a smart thermometer.
by the way, how does this actually tie together with the title and the theme for tonight? We like kvetching. And for those of you that don't understand kvetching, you understand about kvetching. You just don't realize it yet.
Yeah,
Well, that's
exactly.
just it. We have to keep a generator with 2 to 3 days worth of gas available at all times, because the people that live here, it's just me and my hubby, but the people that live here, we need assistance in order to sleep properly at night, or else we choke to death. And that's not really something that you want to do.
Nope. Nope.
When we
Yeah,
were
I
at
have a.
when we were at
I do
the
have a smart thermometer, but it has multiple. It has multiple configurations. Like I can configure it so that I can control it within my house. I can just as a regular thermometer. You know, you go up, you touch the screen, you do the thing, and that's it. Have a nice day. Where I can do it through my cell phone, through my home network, not through an internet connection, but my home network. And I also have it where, because it is compatible, the protocol is compatible, I can tell my local energy company and give them authorization to control it. But while we get us a discount, they would be deciding when to ramp up the heat or air conditioning and at what levels to put them at. And I've got some cantankerous people I take care of. And if people who are older than Sujin and I have this, in fact, this borderline pathological need to control the thermostat.
Yep.
I saw the eye roll. You know what I'm talking about, dude.
Well, see, my problem is that when this house was built, we were told that if we wanted central air, it would be a relatively easy thing to put onto the system afterwards, that we didn't have to do it now because, saving a couple bucks here and there. And at this point, central air for us, so to speak, is open the basement door, turn on the fan that's on the stairs from the basement and blow the cold air, maybe a little musty smelling, but the cold air up from the basement, and have a couple of fans in the window chucking the hot air out. And wow, boy, let me tell you, that's a hell of a lot cheaper than using a compressor and an evaporator and a compressor, because holy smoke, does an air conditioning system generate a lot of power usage.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me. Doc is asking, did I just come back when people were reacting me saying to trust nothing? Why do you ask?
We didn't know that you had gone away.
Why do you ask? Why do we know?
Don't make him paranoid.
Don't ask questions if you don't want the answer to them. Because then I'll start telling you how many holes I've got in my underwear. You know what? Fine, I'll tell you anyway. I've got 4. As it should be. Because that's the way they're made. Anyway. I don't know what you guys were talking about while I was gone, but from the funny side, because of what I just did, there are a lot of groups out on the internet right now who do just funny just because. Dropout.tv, for instance, who they do a lot of like home built game shows and things like Dimension 20, the D&D campaigns, and I don't remember who does Critical Role. The guys that are like involved with making, oh God, what the hell is the name of it? The D&D cartoon? Oh crap, I forgot. I forgot which one that was called. I know I'll remember it later. Crap.
Nonsense is habit forming.
That's not helping me, right? I don't remember. Vox Machina. Thank you, Lexa. By the way, I didn't greet you properly. I highlighted you when you were in the chat, and I waved before. I don't know if you saw that, but yeah, I did see you.
Legend of Vox Machina is the full title. Thanks for
rekindling
our memories,
Alexa. This is why you guys are
Vox
invaluable.
Machina is freaking hilarious.
They're
man.
freaking amazing.
You want something? Okay, so for the audience, if you've never played Dungeons and Dragons, or even if you have, but you've never had that level of your group or the people that you're watching have never really played it in an absurd manner where they've just gone off the rails. Legend of Vox Machina is what happens when your party goes off the rails.
And you got really, really good people voice acting. They're really good at what they do. Holy smoke. But, yeah. Yeah, Vox Machina, they're really good. Dimension 20, some of the... See, that was the other one. Dimension 20.
Yeah, I'm going to say right now, and I am not ashamed to say this, but as far as characters goes in Vox Machina, I am a Scanlan fan. Absolutely 100% Team Scanlan. Because that gnomish bard is hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
And he's OP as hell, too. And he rocks.
Oh, yes, he does. The last I remembered, there was something about wanting to bang his daughter and not realizing it was his daughter. Now, I don't know what was going on with all that, so nobody tell me nothing. I want to be able to finally catch up eventually, so I'll get around to that one.
There's also Deerstalker Pictures, and they're the ones that did the song, the Friendship Solo song, or rather the Murder Hobo song, as well as the Bard fight and a couple of other things. They have shorts and they have small 2 to 5 minute things about their characters, as well as Baldur's Gate and a couple other games.
Baldur's Gate, man.
No.
That was... I don't know anything about the game other than the fact that it's just a whole bunch of furry bait that's going on with that. And that's all I need to know right now.
Yes, furry bait. Mm-hmm.
Yep, I'm going like that.
I had nobody to play with.
Well, then you could just play with yourself.
Where's the fun in that?
Oh, boss, come now.
If I'm going to play with myself, I'm going to get my pickaxe and I'm going to go and play Minecraft. Yes, I know where you're trying to get me to go, and I am not going there.
There's some people that understand that I just made references to Jack Benny, and I got away with it too. Mwah! Good night, everybody. Thank you, Wacko Warner. Ow.
Good night, everybody.
Oh,
Fingerprints, not fingerprints.
Good night, everybody.
It's amazing what you can get away
I'm
with.
a pianist. A pianist. It's not that kind of show.
See, this is why we enjoy the hell out of some of the stuff that we've grown up on. Not necessarily because it was all good, because some of it was good, some it was okay. But man, just like I say at work, sometimes we get shit, but sometimes we get the shit. Some of the stuff that we grew up on, oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah. That is good.
Duck season.
I'm not getting in the middle of this one. Not until next year, when we get the Coyote versus Acme. Oh, we're absolutely going to be looking forward to that. I'm absolutely going to the theaters for that one. I don't go to the theaters almost ever anymore. Truth be told, it would take something really spectacular, and I drive past the big theater in the local community every day, and I'm looking at the titles that are up there, and it's like that's a next installation, that's a next installation, that's a next installation, that's a redo of the original. Yeah, no, it's fine.
It would cost me about $20 in transit fares to go from where I live to Hollywood Universal Studios, because they have Looney Tunes there. Yeah.
Come again?
That's where the Looney Tunes is at. Universal Studios has the Looney Tunes as part of their stuff. They also have Harry Potter. $20 for me to go there, and it's about $100 to actually get inside. I could easily spend an entire day there, or week.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. I'm looking at Dropout TV. Dimension 20 does a series called Dungeons and Drag Queens. Oh, that's priceless.
They did one episode that was entirely set in Equestria. So that was a great one.
But I mean, like, drag queens know how to be like the ultimate drama queen, and Dungeons and Dragons with just oh god, that's got to be priceless. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to another service I have to subscribe to. Oh my god.
So the movie theater that I'm looking at, and no, I'm not going to name names. I will, however, say that it's a Regal Movies place. There are a couple of them in the locality over here in Buffalo, so I'm not too worried about saying that much. I'm looking at what's on the docket for 'em. The Bad Guys 2, Fantastic Four: First Steps, The Naked Gun. Okay, again, so far 3 for 3 that they are like installations of other stuff. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Okay, fine. The live action, or mostly live action, Lilo and Stitch. Okay. The Smurfs movie.
I'm looking at my local, and the last two were not there, but the other ones were.
Yeah. There is, however, one item that's on this list at the moment that's kind of a bit of a surprise for me. Okay. By the way, rounding out some of the stuff over here, newly coming out, Freakier Friday. What was one of the other ones that was over here? The mostly live action How to Train Your Dragon. Okay, whatever. This kind of surprises me. It's the 75th anniversary release of Sunset Boulevard. Pretty impressive, pretty impressive to me. It, however, annoys me that it says no passes or super savers. It's the 75th anniversary of a movie that has lasted this long, that merits coming back again. Why wouldn't you make it available for people who have earned the option to come in to see it for free? There aren't that many. Come on. You know what? Whatever. But yeah, some of this.
Ooh, Sunset Boulevard? Is that the one you're talking about?
I was just scrolling. Yes. And I didn't realize there is a 2025 release of Grave of the Fireflies from Studio Ghibli.
Oh.
And it specifically says sub. It's not dubbed. It's subbed. Mwah. Thank you guys. That's nice.
Son of Sardar 2, subtitled. The Lychee Road, subtitled. Jurassic World Rebirth. No thanks. I'll wait.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 35th anniversary. The live action rubber suited guys. How they didn't die in those suits, I do not get. And Tech, you might appreciate this one. August 14th and 19th. Pre-order your tickets now for Riff Tracks Live Time Cop.
Sorry, I'm trying to reach the button. My cat keeps getting in the way.
Good cat.
Move.
Yo, Dolph Lundgren, Time Cop.
Over here. Go.
It
Over
was
here.
bad.
Yes, I remember Time Cop.
Oh my God, the stuff that's just reissued? What the hell? This is okay.
They run out of ideas very quickly.
Yeah, but see, the problem is I'm looking at some of the stuff and I'm like, I don't know how to feel about this. I kind of feel good about seeing it again, but at the same time, the skeptic in me, the cynic in me is very much, this is what you got to do in order to get like money again. Texas Chainsaw Day, Conjuring Marathon, Annabelle Creation, Conjuring Marathon, The Nun 2, Hell House LLC, Lineage. What over here? Trainwreck 10th anniversary, the 40-year-old version 20th anniversary, Dirty Dancing 2025 reissue, various Harry Potter, just whatever. Ponyo from Studio Ghibli. What else over here that was like catching my attention because it's like really the 50th anniversary release. I'm going to make us all suddenly feel like we need to have walkers. The 50th anniversary release of Jaws. 50th anniversary of Jaws. Fuck y'all. You know, although unrated release of The Toxic Avenger. You want to talk about it at the same time?
Now,
just
that being said, there is a new Toxic Avenger movie coming out.
oh, is there?
Yes.
This one appears to be.
Look up the new one and see who is playing Toxie. I'm not going to ruin it. You look it up because I want to see the expression on your face when you read it.
So now you guys can hear my tippity tap Toxic Avenger 2023 film. Oh, so the one that's going to be played is the 23 version. Is this the one that I'm looking for?
No, you're looking for the one that's 2025. It comes out this month on the 29th.
Hold it. The 2023 film for the Toxic Avenger? According to Wikipedia, quote, it is the 5th installment and reboot of the Toxic Avenger film series and remake of the 84 film. The film stars Peter Dinklage as the title character.
I just read that. Just before you said it, I just read that.
You'll forgive me, and Mr. Dinklage, may I call you Peter? I won't. Mr. Dinklage, forgive me. I'm impressed, then? Be that as it may, Toxic Avenger film, let's see, 89,
I don't know why it says
2002.
2023 in Wikipedia, because the movie's coming out this month of this year. And yes, it is starring Peter Dinklage, Kevin Bacon, Elijah Wood. I mean, they got some names in there.
Johnny
And I saw the Red Band trailer of it, and I'm going, oh my goodness, I am so going to see this.
Oh,
Come hell or high water, I am going to see this.
I have to apologize a little bit because I finally scrolled down on the Wikipedia page to see the cast Peter Dinklage as, first off, Winston Goose. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to say it. Whoever it was that was coming up with this name, just screw you, man. Just screw you. Winston Goose. Peter Dinklage is the voice of the Toxic Avenger. Luisa Guerriero, Guerriero, as the Toxic Avenger suit performer. Yes, I pronounce it suit. Why? Because suit doesn't suit me well.
I'm watching the trailer and it's just going to be campy.
Okay.
I don't like horror movies. I really don't like horror movies. But this is going to be campy as in Shaun of the Dead. Campy.
Okay, see, I don't like horror movies either. However, Evil Dead, I don't have a problem with because it is too damned funny. So that I can, I mean, the Ash versus the Evil Dead series. Yeah, beautiful. I loved it. I loved the fact that they could be just drenched, dipped in a 55 I don't know how many liters that is, doesn't matter. 55-gallon drum of fake blood, or have it poured all over them. And in the next scene, their eyes are clear and wiped away, and their mouths are cleared and wiped away, and they're talking through whatever it is, and not 5 seconds later in the scene, they're completely dry again, and they're getting into the car and driving off again.
Okay, there.
Bruce Campbell is the finest man to grace the silver screen.
There's horror movies like Saw, like, you know, that genre. I can't stand it. I can't stand a lot of other stuff like that. But this one, it seems to be, like the Ash movies. Some of the
Toxic Avenger, yeah.
Some
Toxic
of the
Avenger. The old school Toxic Avenger is as absurd as Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. And as absurd as Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Okay? Very, very absurd. And that's what Toxic Avenger was as well. Very, very absurd. B-movie, you know? And they're just putting... You know, they're updating the B-movie for the times, the makeup artists and the actors and everything. And honestly, I couldn't be more excited.
That's wild.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at what they show in the trailer, and it's campy, not Final Destination.
Toxic Avenger is it was more of he gets deformed by the toxic waste, which causes him to be brutally strong, have regenerative abilities, but the guy's not a superhero, right? He's just a janitor. And he gets it taken advantage of, and he wants to do better. Now, granted, the original Toxic Avenger wasn't, a dwarf. But the fact that they have Peter Dinklage doing it, Peter Dinklage just makes, not because of his height, but because of his skill. Whatever role he's given, he does amazing work. So just from the trailer alone, seeing how he plays the character in the trailer gives me great hope, because I don't care how the rest of the actors do. I'm there to see him.
Yeah, that's fair. This guy is basically the complete opposite. Okay, some people are not going to get this reference, and some of you are going to kind of squirm a little bit. I'm sorry. If you think back to RoboCop from 1987, Emil ended up getting a chemical bath that turned him into what was basically a failed version of the Toxic Avenger, and who then got splattered on the hood of the car right near the end of the movie.
Yeah, and that was very visceral too, because you're looking at this person going, "Oh my God," it's terrible. Whereas this is more of that comic book type stuff of
and comedic.
In reality, if you get dropped in a vat of toxic whatever, you're probably not going to survive long, or if you do, you're going to have a whole lot of complications.
You're not going to come out looking like the Joker.
Exactly. That's what this is, except instead of being a bad guy, he's a hero.
He's cleaning up the scum of the world. One bucket of mop at a time.
I mean, I've watched the original Toxic Avenger, and it was
bad. I remember seeing some scenes. It was so bad.
I've watched them. I've watched them all. They were terrible, which was what made them such great B movies. People talk about Sharknado, and it's like, no. Sharknado, it attempts to be a B movie. The only reason Sharknado truly entered a sort of, this is my opinion, mind you, the B movie category was because of oh God, what's his name?
Don't say Michael Bay. Don't say Michael
Wesley
Bay.
Crusher.
Will Wheaton?
Will Wheaton.
Yeah, Will Wheaton toured a new one on Twitter back when Twitter was still Twitter and wasn't being owned and operated by a bunch of racist, narcissistic people.
To his credit, if anybody's going to know how bad a movie is going to be, Will's really good at that kind of thing.
Yeah, but I mean, he just kept going round at Will Wheaton's. He's not a bad guy.
No, he is not. He's a really excellent human being.
He even owned up to something bad, and he did it in a way. Forgiveness is granted, but when it comes to tearing something that's being snarky or whatever, he's very good at it. Ryan Reynolds is very good at it. There's a lot of people who are very good at quick wit and snark, and at the right time in the right way, without being mean. And honestly, it takes a really smart person to do that too. And he was just doing it non-stop through the movie as it was playing on television, and people started tuning in, they started responding, they started adding their own content, and that's how Sharknado became famous. And of course, the people who produced it said, well, let's keep making more. And I think they're coming out with like a 5th or 6th one or whatever the hell it is. And I'm like, oh, come on, guys. Haven't you bled this thing dry yet?
Dude, if they haven't
Nope.
if they haven't yet done Deadpool 19, it's all good with the world.
I mean, yeah, but considering the Marvel universe, there is so much material from Deadpool to put through, especially when you have all the comic book lines of Deadpool killing Wolverine, Deadpool killing Thanos, Deadpool killing the universe, Deadpool killing just about every single comic book character. And I mean, so you can, as long as they have Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, and allow him to do his ad lib and snark along the way, that will continue to a point of being successful. But it'll eventually drop off too. But Toxic Avenger, I mean, it did its run during its time, and then it kind of fell off because that style of stuff kind of ended. And now that they're doing this, I really hope they don't do another Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Let that classic be a classic. But Toxic Avenger, yeah, I mean, doing a remake of it, fair game. Because I think they picked the right talent to do it. They didn't just pick some random guy to do it.
If nothing else, look at it this way. The lens on that iPhone is really good for taking movies, right? Io, back over to you. Come on, give me some hand.
What?
Good answer. Way to go. Sorry, I'm just having all kinds of fun because Doc is also mentioning over here this turned from a comedy show to a nerd out. Stephanie responding, what? Yes, but it's fun.
What's wrong with a nerd out? And I swear I'm the only Star Trek fan that actually liked Wesley Crusher. Why? Because I was the female version of Wesley Crusher. I got dragged by my mother from where I was happy and safe and comfortable to God knows where. And I had to completely relearn how to be around those people that we were now around. He got dragged from, I think it was Earth to the Enterprise. And he was one of the older kids. And I got dragged from Ontario to BC. From family to nothing.
And on top of it, the head of the floating city that they were in was the guy that your mom kind of half blamed for her husband's death? Question mark.
My father's still alive.
No, I mean that's Wesley's problem.
Yeah.
Mom dragged him off the floating ship was the. Yeah.
Right. Picard was the reason why his dad died.
Yeah. They never exactly really covered the actual ins and outs of the why of that, though, did they?
But I could see the comparison between Wesley and me because the two of us had the same type of drag from where we were comfortable, where we were growing up, to who knows where. And stuck in essentially a worse situation. And all the anti-Wesley stuff just pissed me off.
Yeah.
We definitely lived in different parts of the world because where I grew up, and the people around me were not anti-Wesley. All the girls were swooned over him, and the guys are just like, whatever.
Yeah.
The girls that I was around, there was the odd one that kind of liked Will Wheaton, but not necessarily Wesley. There's a difference.
True.
They liked.
You could have gone and
Stand By
almost
Me.
Any.
They like to Stand By Me, Will Wheaton, not Wesley Crusher. There's a difference. They like the movie version of Will Wheaton, not Wesley Crusher. And
yes, the ones by me, you could have gone to almost any girl's room or just interview almost any girl that was in the area where I grew up, and they had the poster of Wesley Crusher in his Star Trek uniform, his gray.
Yeah, I can see that. For me,
I actually managed to find a sweater that was similar to the gray uniform and even had gold piping.
nice.
And I loved wearing it, but when I outgrew it, I outgrew it and it disappeared.
For me, I kind of felt bad for the character of Wesley because he was the know-it-all and he was being put in the position of being the Machina, the what the hell was the term for it?
Mary Sue?
Ex Machina.
Yeah, but I forget what the full term is for it.
He was the box that all the problems got solved in.
Yeah, and for me,
if you read John Scalzi's Red Shirts, they have that. They have the box, and the box solves all the problems. The group of people realize that they are part of the narrative, and they are the NPCs, the background actors, the background characters, whereas the people that are on the bridge, yeah, this one guy keeps on getting beaten up and gets healed, and.
Yeah. Lexa, I think, is the one that got it. Deus Ex Machina, or Machina Ex Machina, or whatever it is. Be that as it may, I always felt bad for the character because he was always being put into that position of being the fix-it, knows everything better than everybody else for no explicable reason, which they kind of found a way of explaining it with the Traveler. I know, spoilers, whatever. It was 1987. Blow me. But the idea of, separating the actor from the character, for me, even though I was, early college, it was still kind of a little bit difficult to do because, just reasons. But finding out afterwards how he was treated by his family, his parents, and the shit that he went through, and how his family of choice became the family of the Enterprise, and he is now an incredibly wonderful human being. Oh my God, he is amazing. And a great father, a great family man, and he gets to live out so many great nerd ideas. I am just tickled. I'm just tickled for him so greatly. I'm just so glad for him.
Yeah, do you know how many of the games that he put onto his podcast or vlogcasts I ended up having to buy?
The series was called Tabletop.
Yes, at least Ticket to Ride and about 2 others. If not more than that. I don't remember exactly how many of those games we ended up buying, but
yeah, 2 things about Tabletop, by the way. Item 1, you will find out about various pieces of Will Wheaton lore, including the dice curse and the hot dick milk story. Don't worry, you can look that one up later. Item 2, Doc Waxon is saying, Shu, you just described MacGyver. No, I did not. Because MacGyver was smart. He knew all of what he was doing because he had so much learning. Wesley Crusher just instinctively seemed to know. He was a savant with pieces. Whether he had all the formal training or not, which he eventually did. Admittedly, the character eventually did have like all the smarts because he had all the book learning. Because as a teenager on a starship, what are you going to do? You're either going to be banging everybody because you can get away with it, or you're going to be stuck reading books. And, well, I mean, really, what else are you going to do? I'm saying that from the standpoint of how many other kids his age did we see? And that was a travesty all unto itself. There should have been more, like, all ages all over the place.
Quote from Red Shirts. Well, that's science fiction television for you, though, Abnett said. Somebody's got to be the red shirt. I love this one. I was laughing listening to the audiobook.
But Tasha was in gray, gold.
Yes, but Denise Crosby wanted off the show because she didn't think it was that good for her.
It really wasn't. At least not at that point.
Because basically she and Worf were the same character, but doing two different things. He was security, she was security. And with Data, they had three characters basically doing the same thing.
In a lot of ways, and that sucked. And they did her dirty on the way out. I'm glad they gave her a chance to come back in a role that made some goddamn sense.
Here's another quote from Red Shirts. God is a hack, he said. He's a writer on an awful science fiction television show, and he can't plot his way out of a box. How do you have faith when you know that?
Wait, who were they talking about?
They were talking about God. God is a hack. He's a writer on an awful science fiction television show, and he can't plot his way out of a box. How do you have faith when you know that? The entire premise is that these ensigns, these secondary characters on a TV show are actually real in another universe. So, the lower decks guys are actually real in another universe, and in order to keep themselves alive, they scatter whenever one of the officers comes down looking for somebody. Because whoever they pick will die.
That's fair. Doc Waxon is also asking, for an overachiever like me, where do I stand? I'm going to give you the answer that's made sense since 1975. On your feet. Because the Rocky Horror Picture Show came out in 1975. Where we stand on our feet. Do you want to talk about stuff that makes us fun, makes us laugh, makes us smile, keeps our sanity? Tim Curry in thigh-high fishnets. That does it. By the way, for those of you who are guys,
I've got the damn song going through. Yes.
There you go.
Science fiction.
See, now you got more fodder. For those of you who have never, guys, especially, for those of you that have never worn fishnets, you have no idea how much that hurts on your little feet. You have no idea. How do I know it? I had a great wife. That's why. Make of that what you will. Yes, it's a reference to something you said in your last charity show. You know what? Considering that those charity streams were approximately 40 hours straight being on the radio stream, ask me if I remember anything about those times. Ask me anything about those hours. Ask me if I remember any of it anymore. You have big feet.
Feet's too big. Don't love you 'cause your feet's too big.
You know what? Not going to say it. Not going to say it.
Say it.
Fine. Undo your pants and let's find out.
I'm not wearing pants.
Talking to him. Anyway. We've only got a couple minutes left. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to end off with at the moment. Who's got something that they want to end off with? Because otherwise, that means that I'm going to have to go first, and I don't think anybody really wants that yet, do you?
Oh, I was traipsing around TikTok today, found somebody commenting about the description of male tumblences. Is that the word I'm looking for? And the person pulled out essentially a giant eggplant or zucchini, you know? Where's that gonna go? I responded, where's that woman with the measuring tape when we need her? This is just fine. This is also acceptable. A little bit big, definitely too big. 27 Club. Given my next life. I love comedy.
Tech, you got something left in the tank at the moment? Reminding you that you have to get around the cat in order to hit the button.
Yeah. Nah, she's calmed down. She's over there. Oh God, Doc. Jeez. Oh, and you did it in all caps too. That's great, man. Just...
So either A, you don't realize that you're using the Cantor caps lock key, or B, you switched over to a VT104 terminal, and you can cut that right the hell out. There are people who understand what I mean by that, by a VT104.
Yeah.
You've only got uppercase. That's the way it is.
In this room.
Anyway, something left in the tank?
You know,
No is acceptable, you know.
I think I'm done. Yeah, I'm kind of done for the night. I mean, we're talking about we were in and out about the funny stuff and things like that. You know, kind of a less serious show and everything else. Oh shit! Hit the mic stand.
You're fine.
And so on. If there's somebody out there who's a gamer who's looking for something to kind of bring a little peace of mind, and they haven't played it before, one of the things they might want to look towards is a game called The Planet Crafter. There's no monsters to fight or anything like that. You're literally dropped on a planet by a corp. You're dropped on a planet. I think you're either you terraform it, and while you have to worry about meteors as the atmosphere builds up and so on, there is something quite just peaceful and beautiful about it, minus the occasional meteor shower. Again, once you build up your atmosphere, unless you manually cause a meteor shower with rocket satellites and such, you're not really going to have to worry about after a certain period of time. The exploration feature, the development of the planet over time, from going from not having water to having rain, and to having ponds to having lakes and so on, to see the partake in not just plant growth as it grows, but actually doing genetics and growing trees, growing plants, butterflies, bees, eventually animals, and so on. There's something quite peace of mind about it. Something very, and the artwork of it. If you have a system that can support, like the heavy duty you can play it in low graphics or you can play it in high graphics, and either way, it's beautiful. End of story. Um, I mean, there's sure there's Subnautica. It's a beautiful game, but that has a lot of there's combat in it. There is no combat in the Planet Crafter, um, and I don't think they'll ever put any in there because it doesn't need it. Um, the technological advancements, blueprints that you break through over time as you hit milestones, they make sense. I mean, they're still doing things to the game, and they'll probably continue to do things for a while. And they've already expanded it where now you can leave that planet and go to a moon and terraform that too. I think they're up to 2 different moons now, if I remember correctly. In the um, plant life and the animal life and everything is all different for each location. So it's just amazingly beautiful. The music is great. Um, it's a great way to have a nice Zen moment in terms of video games.
Io, anything left?
Oh, if you're going to use AI to try and flirt with a woman, try to get rid of the prompts. Yeah, I had one of those today.
You know. Okay. It's going to be the bane of existence. I'm going to close off with this. We've nerded out like crazy, and to a good extent, it makes perfect sense. I mean, the kind of people that we are. I mean, shoot, we're on a podcast, for crying out loud, so to speak. There's so many different things that we end up nerding out about, whether it's cultural or nostalgic. And one of the biggest pieces about it is whimsy. We really don't give enough concept to the term, or we don't use it nearly enough. And I've made reference to a couple of pieces of whimsy that I have right here in the office. The first of which I bought for myself because, I was turning 50 and I figured I've got the opportunity. So I had bought for myself, and I've showed this many a time, the Star Trek communicator, the Bluetooth connect to your phone or any other Bluetooth device, rechargeable Star Trek communicator. Yeah, it's got sound effects and whatnot that'll do on its own, but it's a hefty, chunky boy. I like it a lot. It's very impractical a lot of the time, but, it's fun for me because it's fun. But what is, believe it or not, the thing for me that is just what just happened here? What just happened? My camera turned off.
Yeah, it did. And it's also now off on the stream, going out to people. Oops.
Yeah, I know. Why?
Technical difficulties.
Am I
we'll
still
be
okay?
right back. There he is.
I don't know what happened. The camera just went off. Okay, you know what? I didn't do anything to it. Whatever. Well, this kind of works out interestingly because now the software driving the cameras got it zoomed all the way out to its default view, which actually works out. One of the things that is about whimsy is that there's no functional reason for it. The communicator, it's a Bluetooth speaker. It's got function. It doesn't get used very often, but it's got its own function. And then there's this. My player piano roll. There is literally no good reason for me to have this. I do not have a player piano. I don't have anything for playing it on.
Wait. You should send that to B. Dylan Hollis on YouTube. He has a player piano that he repaired, and he demonstrated it on one of his shorts. It worked.
It's easy enough to get these. As a matter of fact, they are still being produced new. So you can actually buy these from company. I forget what the name of the company is. Doesn't really much matter. I bought this from my shop at, $2.
So
because I could.
I have a Doctor Who's plush. I have a couple of sonic screwdrivers, including one that's actually a spork. I'll find it. I will take a photo of it.
The point, however, for me, is that there is no functional use that I have for this. It's just because it sits in its box and it's just over here on the side for no other reason other than that I can. The best part about it, however, is that I can look on the end of it. And even though it's in reverse on the stream, it's Mr. Bojangles. I have this because I wanted it. It gives me joy. Not a great, huge amount of joy, but it gives me joy because I get to look over at it and realize the pleasure is just because. Literally, that's the entire. It doesn't make any logical sense. It doesn't have to. It's just because. So, if there is something for just a couple of dollars, a couple of pounds, a couple of bucks, a couple of quid. Yes, I know how to use the expression correctly. Why not? Really, in the grand scheme of things, if it's just a little something, why not? If it gives you a smile, cool. Because in this day and age, a little something that can give you a smile, yeah, nothing wrong with that at all. We got to call it a night. Thank you for being with us, everybody. We hope that you had yourself a good time, a fun time, and of course, as always, hopefully you got something to think about for the week ahead. Over in the chat, Lexa, who is also commenting, quote, I just think they're neat. Basically, and nothing wrong with that. Spot on. Well done. And good to have you, by the way. Glad you're able to chime in, before I said goodnight to everybody this week. Doc, thank you very much. Appreciate it. And, of course, as always, Stephanie. Yeah. Thank you, guys. And, again, glad that the heat wave is not hitting you guys. We're not looking at good weather coming up the next couple of weeks locally for various reasons. Heat, fires. So, yeah, we're going to be looking at air quality indexes and being real careful over here, I promise. Hopefully, I will also be able to get enough rest overnight. That would be hugely helpful so I can actually get out on a weekend. We'll see. Io, as always, thank you very much. You have yourself a fun show coming up tomorrow.
Just because we gotta grow old doesn't mean we gotta grow up.
True that. Thank you very much. And of course, as always, sleep well. You can say thank you.
I'm going to be going to sleep anytime soon. I have a recording I have to do. I have this. I have that. I hope you sleep a lot better than I do.
You just had to get her started, didn't you?
Yep, he did.
Fine. May Luna watch over you when that time finally comes. Fair enough.
I know she will, and I hope she does to you too.
Speaking of whimsy for exactly that purpose, right next to me. Always is. Because...
That's not Luna, that's Nightmare Moon.
Tomato,
I know it's
tomato,
the same
potato,
character,
potato.
but...
Let's call the whole thing off. But I've got the card too, so it's all good. I appreciate her.
Friendship is magic.
It actually is. Tech, thank you very much. And like I was saying, like at the head of the show, I really hope there is no more shake, rattling, and rolling going on that's coming down your pike. So you have yourself a restful night and hopefully a quiet one.
Gonna give it a shot.
Fair. We'll be looking forward to seeing all of you guys again come next week, assuming that everything works out well. There will very likely be a weekend that I will be taking off in the relatively near future. There's reasons. I'm not going to be discussing it anytime soon, but I may need to take a weekend off. I'll let y'all know about that one well in advance. Don't worry about it, but I figure I might as well just let you know soon. Other than that, thank you, as always. Best way, of course, as always, get in touch with us over on the Discord channel. More than happy to get in touch with you. You can get us on, well, a couple of social media accounts. Arguably the easiest and best and easiest one to get a hold of us over Blue Sky, because Facebook is just a holdover because it's not as bad as everything else. And, well, the other one, it's dead bird. So we just get rid of that a long time ago now. Other than that, please, y'all, just stay safe, stay healthy. There are birthdays coming up the next couple of weeks. Talk about that later. Other than that,
there was a 6.8 over in Russia again. That same cluster.
Are you sure they're not confusing that with a drone strike from Ukraine or something?
No.
Oh, there we go. It just got canceled.
It's the same section that's been getting all sorts of earthquakes, so stay safe out there, especially if you're in the Ring of Fire.
It's a secret government military experiment.
well, unless the gamma detectors have gone off, I think we can pretty well rule that one out.
Yeah, 6.8, 118 kilometers east of Severko, Kursk, whatever, Russia.
Stay safe. So, as always, until the next time we're together, I wish you all the peace I no longer have. I wish you the strength that I've learned. I wish you well. And, as always, my lady, it's almost your birthday again. Funny how that works. And like I've said, 20 years on, I am still in love. Well, not today, Fujin. I love you. I miss you. Dream of me. Till the next time we're together, everyone, as always,